This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
Totally. Yes.
It's an absolute riot.
Woo!
And the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time.
What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out of touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
This episode is brought to you by the world's first reposado from Tequila Herradura. Made with slow-cooked, hand-harvested agave sealed into oak barrels and aged 11 months. Before being enjoyed in your glass. Experience the world's first reposado. Tequila Herradura. Please drink responsibly. Responsibility.org. Tequila Herradura. 40% alcohol by volume. Imported by Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky. Herradura is a registered trademark. Copyright 2025 Brown-Forman Corporation.
It's Wednesday, Addams. I see you're trying to distract yourself from your own banal thoughts. Let me help. Here's a recording thing made of my latest root canal.
Wednesday, Season 2, begins August 6th, only on Netflix.
Hey listeners, from Cavalry Audio, the studio that brought you The Devil Within and The Murder Chronicles, comes a riveting new true crime podcast that you won't want to miss, Death by Southwest. Each week, join myself, Margot Carmichael, and my sister and co-host, Jenna Jarrold, as we take you on a journey into a different grisly murder story unique to the American Southwest. We'll use a blend of narrative storytelling and conversational commentary to explore shocking murder stories that range from the utterly bizarre to the downright bone-chilling, unpacking both the lives and minds of the murderers and their victims. Check out this brief sample from episode 1 of Death by Southwest that I'm about to play for you. And while you're listening, please go follow Death by Southwest on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Death by Southwest is also available as a premium listening experience with access to tons of bonus content by subscribing to Cavalry Plus, only on the Apple Podcasts app. Click the link in the show notes to listen and follow.
So sometime after this is when that family friend of Prestipino's, Trisha Ott, she came forward and told police that during those 2 days that Christopher had that U-Haul rented, he called her to come over because he needed help with something, is what he said to her. And according to Trisha, when she arrived at his house, he began to tell her a story about an unnamed female that came over to hang out. And they got high on methamphetamines. And this female started freaking out and apparently talking in, quote, the devil's tongue and threatening to call the cops on Christopher. So he didn't want the cops called on him. He obviously has several felony drug charges already. So he tied her up to a chair, according to Trisha, to calm her down. And when he went to untie her, she punched him in the face. Things escalated and he strangled her to the point where she passed out. He thought she was dead. Oh, and I should have mentioned this earlier. She's tiny. I showed you her Instagram. We didn't even describe her.
It's hard to tell though. Like, I mean, she's not a big human, but
right.
I couldn't tell. Is she tall? Like,
she's
it's
5
hard to tell.
5 foot tall, about 110 pounds.
Okay.
Very tiny human.
So he went to untie her. I can only assume, which is not a good thing to do, but I'll just do it anyways. Assume that he had thought, okay, it's been an hour, however long, maybe 50 hours. Hopefully not. She's calmed down.
Right.
Let me untie her.
Right. And then she punched him in the face. And he was like, oh, she's not calm.
Right.
So I'm going to wrestle her back down. And at this point, she is fighting back. And they physically fought to the point where then he started to strangle her. Now, again, this is allegedly according to Trisha. She then told police that Chris had a U-Haul truck. And in the back of the truck, there was a cement mixer and a freezer that was apparently taped and strapped shut. She also claimed that inside his garage, she saw a large concrete block sitting on some type of wooden pallet. Then she told police that Chris asked her for help moving the concrete structure, this concrete block that was on the pallet, inside the back of the U-Haul truck, but it was too heavy to move. So instead, Trisha just got in the U-Haul truck because Chris said, let's go for a ride. So Trisha said that they stopped 2 times on this little U-Haul joyride they were taking.
But they didn't have the concrete pallet in there.
They did not. They could not get in.
The freezer was in there.
The freezer was in there. So the first stop, they stopped behind some random business where she said that Prestipino disposed of the freezer in a dumpster. And then they stopped behind the Paris Hotel and Casino, where he tried to take a forklift, but was unable to take it for one reason or the other. Ott said to him, you're supposed to have clearance to be in this area, but somehow Christopher was able to enter that area, try to get the forklift, couldn't get it, and then drove away. Ott said that at this point, Prestipino was scaring her, which really, at this point, are you kidding? But fine. And she said that Chris was acting strange and kept turning the radio up so loud because he kept saying he thought the FBI was listening. So once they got back to his house, apparently she left.
Who has paranoia now?
I'll tell you who doesn't. Trish. What are you doing? Did you show up at his house, Trish? And he told you this story about this woman that came over. He fed her methamphetamines. She freaked out. He tied her up, that he beat her and strangled her. And then he says, oh, hey, by the way, can you help me move this concrete block into the back of my U-Haul with the freezer I have back there? What the fuck?
Maybe Trish had a thing for Prestipino.
I don't care if you are the most spectacular man in the world. If you tell me that you strangled a woman and then you don't finish the story and you're like, anyways, I'm hoping you can help me move this concrete into my rented U-Haul and we could go for a little ride. I'm out of there. Fucking run away so fast.
I wouldn't. Guess what I'd ask before I run away?
What?
What's the end of the story, man? You're going to end there. I tied her up. I hit her. We ate methamphetamine or however people take meth. And then, okay, hey, can I bother you for a lifting muscle?
No, that's a very good point. So earlier you pointed out murderers. I said murderers. And you were so right. Christopher was not the only person involved in this crime. Enter Cassandra Garrett, or Cassandra Boscones, or Cassandra Tran, or Nikki Hart. This woman went by many aliases. Cassandra was Prestipino's 39-year-old roommate at the time of the incident with Esmeralda. And I don't know much about her, except for that Cassandra apparently had a really big mouth. You just listened to a preview of Cavalry Audio's new podcast, Death by Southwest. If you want to find out how that big mouth eventually spelled the end for these cold-blooded killers, you can listen to the entire episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to follow Death by Southwest today so you never miss an upcoming episode.